Hey guys, tonight we are going to escape the suffocating confines of our little blue planet and drift out into the absolute, terrifyingly beautiful vastness of the cosmic ocean. You are standing on the very edge of everything you have ever known, looking out into a blackness so profound that it makes the deepest terrestrial midnight look like a bright summer afternoon. It is a place where space and time stretch, warp, and occasionally snap like an old rubber band. But let's be entirely honest with ourselves before we dive headfirst into the deep end of the cosmological pool. If you were actually dropped out here without a multi-million-dollar spacesuit, your blood would boil, your lungs would collapse, and you probably won't survive this for more than a handful of agonizing seconds. It is a good thing you are safely tucked under your blankets, completely immune to the vacuum of space. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. While you are doing that, drop a comment down below with your current location and what time your clock is showing right now. It is always fascinating to see how far our little community stretches across this lonely world while we prepare to leave it behind. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You trudge through the mental fog of your daily routine and suddenly find yourself floating weightless, looking back at Earth. From up here, all of human history, every war, every bad poem, every single awkward text message you wish you could delete is just a microscopic smudge of dust on a fragile marble. But your journey does not stop here in the cosmic backyard. We are pushing the throttle forward, bypassing the rusty red deserts of Mars and the magnificent floating ice rinks that make up the rings of Saturn. You are moving at a speed that makes light look like it is stuck in morning traffic, rushing past the boundaries of our solar system until the sun shrinks into just another lonely spark in the dark. Eventually, you reach a boundary that cosmologists call the cosmic horizon. This is the absolute edge of the observable universe, a distance of roughly 46 billion light-years in any direction from where you started. It is a physical limit dictated by a simple, frustrating rule. The universe has a speed limit, and it has only been expanding for about 13.8 billion years. Because light takes time to travel, you can only see the things whose light has had enough time to reach your eyes since the very beginning of reality. Mainstream astronomical consensus confirms that this boundary is not a physical wall. There is no giant neon sign saying, "End of the universe, please turn around." Instead, it is more like standing on a ship in the middle of a foggy ocean. You can only see to the horizon, but you know instinctively that more ocean exists just beyond the mist. As you float here at the edge of visibility, you notice that the space around you is not completely empty, but it is incredibly quiet. The temperature is hovering just a tiny fraction above absolute zero, the point where all atomic motion grinds to a freezing halt. Yet, through the static of your cosmic sensors, you can pick up a faint, omnipresent whisper known as the cosmic microwave background radiation. This is the literal afterglow of creation, the faded thermal scream of the Big Bang that has been stretched across billions of light-years until it became a low-frequency hum. It is the ultimate background noise, a prehistoric white noise machine that has been running for billions of years, making it perfect for drifting off to sleep. But here is where a quirky, slightly fringe tidbit enters our journey to mess with your sense of security. Some astrophysicists have spent years looking at the ripples in this ancient background radiation and noticed something strange. They argue that certain patterns in the cosmic dust look exactly like a faint bruise, a cosmic indentation that shouldn't be there if our universe expanded smoothly in all directions. A few bold theorists suggest this could be the literal indentation left behind from a time when another entirely separate universe bumped into ours, like two ships passing too closely in a dark harbor. Imagine that for a second. Our entire existence might just be a scratched bumper in a cosmic parking lot. Of course, the scientific community is not known for agreeing on anything without a massive, multi-decade argument. Cosmologists still argue whether the universe beyond our sight is infinitely uniform or if it fractures into a chaotic patchwork of completely different realities. Some believe that if you keep traveling past this foggy horizon, you will just find more of the same. More galaxies, more stars, more planets, where an alternate version of you is currently staring at a ceiling, unable to sleep. Others maintain that the edge of our observable bubble is the beginning of something entirely alien, a realm where the fundamental constants of nature might begin to dissolve and reshape themselves. You watch as the farthest galaxies, billions of light years away, begin to flicker and fade like dying embers. Because the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate, these distant cosmic islands are rushing away from us faster than their light can travel toward us. This means that every single day, a few more stars slip past the cosmic horizon, vanishing into the unobservable dark forever. It is a slow, majestic checkout process. The universe is gently pulling the curtain shut on the distant theater, leaving you alone with the immediate dark. You can feel the absolute stillness of this place soaking into your mind. There are no deadlines out here, no traffic jams, no nagging responsibilities. There is only the slow, rhythmic expansion of space itself. You are a silent observer drifting on the boundary between what is known and what will forever remain hidden from human eyes. The cosmic horizon is not a barrier. It is an invitation to accept that some mysteries are simply too large to fit into our small understandings. As you let go of the need to see what lies beyond the fog, your mind begins to mimic the quiet space around you. The distant galaxies can take care of themselves. The cosmic bruise, if it exists, is billions of light years away, completely harmless to your peaceful evening. You are just a passenger on a long, slow drift through the deep vacuum, listening to the oldest static in history as it hums you to sleep. To understand how we might be sharing a cosmic neighborhood with other realities, we have to look closely at the moments right after everything began. You are now sliding backward through time, watching galaxies compress, stars pull themselves back into clouds of glowing gas, and the vast expanse of the cosmos shrink down like a film playing in reverse. You bypass the first few billion years of history, passing the era when the earliest stars lit up the dark, until you arrive at the very birth of space and time. Mainstream science confirms that in the first trillionth of a trillionth of a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang, the universe underwent a mind-boggling growth spurt known as cosmic inflation. Space did not just expand, it ballooned outward at a speed that vastly exceeded the speed of light, stretching quantum ripples into the vast cosmic structures we see today. It was a brief, chaotic flash that laid down the architecture for everything that would ever exist. But if you think that was a neat, one-time event that tidily wrapped up the creation of our world, you are in for a bit of a reality check. Here is a quirky, fringe tidbit that keeps theoretical physicists up at night. Many models of cosmic inflation suggest that once this hyper-expansion starts, it never actually stops everywhere at once. Instead, it is like an unstoppable cosmic kettle that keeps boiling over forever. While inflation slowed down in our little patch of reality, allowing space to cool, stars to form, and humans to eventually invent heated blankets, it is highly likely still raging furiously in other regions outside our view. It is an eternal engine of creation, blasting new pockets of space into existence every single fraction of a second, completely indifferent to our tiny, ordered lives. Naturally, this is not a settled issue that you will find neatly summarized in an elementary school textbook. cosmologists still argue whether eternal inflation is an inevitable mathematical fact of our universe or just an accidental byproduct of overcomplicated equations that we do not fully understand yet. Some scientists argue that our current understanding of quantum gravity is far too primitive to make such wild claims about infinite creation, while others counter that the math works out so beautifully it would be foolish to ignore it. It is a grand intellectual chess match, played across a board of pure mathematics, and nobody is close to yelling checkmate anytime soon. You float silently in the imaginary space outside this inflationary engine, watching the mechanics of reality unfold. Imagine a vast, ever-expanding ocean of high-energy space that is constantly stretching itself to the breaking point. In this hyper-inflating soup, tiny patches randomly slow down, like bubbles forming in a boiling pot of pasta water. Each time a patch slows down and stops inflating, the leftover energy transforms into matter and radiation, triggering a local Big Bang. Our entire universe, with its billions of galaxies, its ancient oceans, its long-extinct dinosaurs, and your unwashed coffee mugs, is just one single isolated bubble in an infinite frothing sea of cosmic foam. It is a humbling thought that can either make you feel incredibly insignificant or wonderfully free from the weight of your everyday problems. That difficult conversation you need to have tomorrow, or that bill you forgot to pay. In the grand scheme of an eternal inflationary multiverse, those worries are smaller than a fraction of an atom. You can just let them dissolve into the background hum of creation. The universe is handled, it is expanding, bubbling, and taking care of itself without requiring a single bit of effort from you. As you watch from your comfortable, weightless vantage point, you can see these bubble universes forming at unimaginable distances from one another, because the space between them is still inflating at speeds faster than light. These bubbles can never touch, never communicate, and never share secrets. They are locked away in their own private dimensions of time, destined to grow old and quiet in absolute isolation. It is a wonderfully peaceful design. There is no risk of a cosmic collision destroying your bedroom tonight. The laws of physics themselves act as a cosmic noise-canceling headphone, keeping our bubble perfectly safe and insulated from the chaotic noise of the infinite outside. You feel the heavy, rhythmic pulse of this eternal creation slowing your mind down. The scale of it is so vast that it acts like a weighted blanket for your consciousness, pressing down the frantic thoughts of the waking world. You do not need to solve the mysteries of cosmic inflation before you close your eyes. You do not need to referee the endless debates of astrophysicists who are currently arguing over chalkboards in university basements. Your only job right now is to let yourself drift along with the expanding space, watching the distant bubbles of light sparkle softly against the eternal dark before they slide out of view. The cosmic engine continues to hum its ancient, steady song, a lullaby born from the highest energies of creation that has softened over billions of years into a gentle whisper. The space around you is cool, dark, and utterly serene. With every slow breath you take, you are moving in perfect sync with the inflation of the cosmos, letting go of the tiny, temporary world on Earth and expanding your mind into the quiet, infinite possibilities of a multiverse that never sleeps, but always rests in a state of majestic, orderly balance. You are now sailing deeper into this infinite frothing sea of cosmic foam, letting your mind drift completely away from our local reality. Mainstream cosmological theory accepts that if eternal inflation is correct, we live in what is known as a level 2 multiverse. In this majestic framework, each bubble universe is completely cut off from the others by a vast, insurmountable gulf of hyper-expanding space. You are observing a landscape where our entire universe, everything we can see through our most advanced space telescopes, is merely a single drop of water in an endless cosmic rainstorm. It is a structure so incredibly massive that human language lacks the proper adjectives to describe it, forcing us to rely on pure imagination to navigate its quiet, dark corridors. As you wander through this eternal foam, a quirky fringe tidbit emerges from the mathematics of string theory to challenge everything you know about the nature of existence. Physicists' calculations suggest that there are at least 10 to the 500 power different ways to fold up the tiny hidden dimensions of space. Each unique folding pattern creates a completely different set of physical laws. This means that in the bubble universe right next to ours, gravity might be so weak that planets fly apart like loose dandelion seeds, or electromagnetism might be so strong that atoms lock together into rigid, unchanging, crystalline structures where life can never even begin. You are looking at a grand cosmic lottery where the prize is just an environment stable enough for a few carbon atoms to sit down and figure out how to breathe. Unsurprisingly, this concept triggers immense pushback within academic circles. Cosmologists still argue whether the multiverse hypothesis is actually a legitimate branch of empirical science or just an elaborate, untestable philosophy masquerading as physics. Critics point out that since we can never physically cross the boundary of our own bubble to sample the air in another universe, the entire idea breaks the fundamental rule of scientific falsifiability. It is a beautiful ghost-like theory that refuses to be caught by our instruments, leaving scientists to debate its existence over coffee and complex computer models that simulate worlds we will never touch. But for your purposes tonight, the unresolvable nature of this debate is exactly what makes it so comforting. You do not need to prove the existence of other bubbles to appreciate the absolute stillness they bring to your mind. Imagine floating in the calm, dark space between these grand cosmic structures. Below you, a bubble might be glowing with a soft amber light, its stars burning through their fuel over trillions of years in complete, uninterrupted silence. Above you, another bubble might be a cold, dark void where no matter ever formed, resting in a state of eternal, undisturbed peace. You are a neutral traveler passing through a gallery of alternate realities, each one a different experiment in what is possible. This perspective offers a gentle, sarcastic reality check for the things that stress you out during the day, that presentation you have to give, or that mistake you made years ago that keeps playing on a loop in your head. In a reality where there are literally more universes than there are atoms in our sky, your daily blunders are completely invisible. The multiverse does not care about your productivity, your social status, or your failures. It just keeps bubbling along, spinning out infinite variations of time and space, while you lie perfectly still, wrapped in the protective warmth of your blankets. You can feel the sheer, incomprehensible scale of this cosmic foam acting as a natural sedative for your nervous system. Your mind, which spent the entire day focusing on tiny, sharp details, is finally allowed to expand, softening its focus until your thoughts become as light and scattered as cosmic dust. There is no urgency out here in the multiverse. Time behaves differently when you look at it from the outside. Entire cosmic life cycles pass by like the blinking of an eye, yet everything moves with a slow, deliberate grace that feels entirely unhurried. As you watch, a nearby bubble universe gently expands and cools, its internal energies settling down into a long, quiet night. You are witnessing the ultimate form of cosmic isolation, a peaceful design where every reality is given its own private room to exist without interference. The walls of our bubble are completely soundproof, shielding your bedroom from the unimaginable energies of creation that exist out in the deep wild. You are perfectly insulated, tucked away in a corner of reality that has been custom-tailored by the laws of physics to be stable, quiet, and safe for your rest. The low-frequency hum of the cosmic foam fills your awareness, a steady, hypnotic vibration that resonates through the vacuum. It is a song with no words, a timeless rhythm that has been beating since before history even had a name. With each slow, deep breath you take, you are letting yourself sink deeper into the soft cushions of this infinite landscape. You don't need to find a map through the multiverse tonight. You can just let the bubbles float away into the background of your consciousness, watching their distant lights dim one by one until your mind is as dark, quiet, and beautifully empty as the vast spaces between the worlds. Now that you have traveled through the theoretical foam of the multiverse, your journey glides back into our own backyard to examine a bizarre anomaly lurking right within our own sky. We are zooming back inside our specific bubble universe, past the swirling nurseries of new stars, and settling into the cold static of the cosmic microwave background radiation. Mainstream cosmological studies confirm that when scientists mapped this primordial radiation using advanced space probes like WMAP and Planck, they expected to find a perfectly random, even distribution of temperature ripples across the sky. After all, a smooth Big Bang should leave a smooth, uniform echo. Instead, they discovered a strange, unexpected alignment of hot and cold spots that stretches cleanly across the entire observable universe, slicing our sky directly in two. This colossal cosmic line was so disruptive to our standard understanding of space that scientists gave it a delightfully dramatic name: the axis of evil. Here is a quirky fringe tidbit that makes this discovery feel like a glitch in the Matrix. The axis of evil is not just a random line in deep space. It is perfectly aligned with the plane of our own solar system and the path our Earth takes around the sun. To our ancestors, this would have been a proof that the entire universe revolves around our little human lives. To modern cosmologists, it is a deeply unsettling coincidence. A few adventurous theorists suggest that this line might not be an internal feature of our universe at all, but rather the literal silhouette of a colossal gravitational pull from an external universe, casting a shadow through the walls of our bubble. As you can probably guess, this has sparked an absolute firestorm of debate in university lecture halls. Cosmologists still argue whether the axis of evil is a genuine, groundbreaking physical structure or simply an accidental error in how we clean and process our satellite data. Some prominent researchers argue that our instruments are merely picking up local dust from our own galaxy, which distorts our view of the ancient light and creates an illusion of alignment. Others maintain that the statistical anomaly is too precise to be brushed under the rug, meaning our fundamental assumptions about the universe being identical in every direction might be completely wrong. You float effortlessly along this massive, invisible cosmic axis, letting your mind marvel at the sheer mystery of it. Imagine a grand, invisible highway cutting across billions of light-years of space, a structure so huge that entire clusters of galaxies look like tiny fireflies hovering near its path. Yet, despite its intimidating name, this axis is completely silent and incredibly calm. It is a slow, ancient alignment that has been sitting quietly in the background of reality for 13.8 billion years, completely unbothered by human anxieties, stock market crashes, or your chaotic daily schedule. It is a great comfort to realize that the universe contains secrets so large they make our biggest daily crises look totally insignificant. That upcoming deadline that has your jaw clenched, or that chore you are avoiding. In the presence of a cosmic structure that spans the entire breadth of creation, those modern stresses simply evaporate into the vacuum. The universe is under no obligation to make complete sense to us tonight, and that means you can officially resign from trying to figure it all out. You can just let the axis of evil exist as a beautiful, mysterious line drawn in the ancient dust while you lie completely motionless in your bed. You can feel the vast, unhurried scale of this cosmic mystery slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the day bouncing between notifications and small tasks, is finally allowed to relax into a state of deep, uncritical wonder. There is no test at the end of this journey. You do not need to solve the crisis of modern astrophysics before your eyes get heavy. You are just a passenger drifting through a universe that is far stranger, more intricate, and more beautifully misaligned than any human could have ever designed. As you look out across the divided sky, you can see galaxies floating on either side of the axis, like distant ships anchored in a calm harbor. The space here is incredibly dark, cool, and soothing to your senses. The laws of nature are keeping everything in a state of perfect, effortless balance. Even if our universe is being tugged or influenced by a sister reality, hiding just beyond the cosmic curtain, it is happening with a slow, majestic gentleness that doesn't disturb a single hair on your head. You are perfectly safe, nestled in a quiet pocket of space that has been humming the same peaceful tune since the dawn of time. The low-frequency vibration of the ancient cosmos washes over you, acting like a gentle weight that settles your body into the mattress. With every slow, deliberate breath you take, you are aligning yourself with the grand, quiet architecture of the cosmos. You don't need a telescope to find your place in the dark tonight. You can just let the axis of evil fade into the background of your mind, watching its massive, invisible presence blend into the soft, velvet blackness of a universe that is perfectly content to keep its secrets while you drift off into a deep and undisturbed sleep, leaving behind the grand, mysterious line of the axis of evil. Your journey through our bubble universe drifts toward another colossal anomaly that is actively reshaping our cosmic neighborhood. We are traveling across millions of light years, passing through what looks like empty space, but you can feel a heavy, undeniable tension in the fabric of reality. Mainstream astronomical consensus confirms that our galaxy, the Milky Way, along with thousands of neighboring galaxies in our cosmic cluster, is not just floating aimlessly. Instead, we are all being dragged through space at a staggering speed of over 1.4 million miles per hour toward a specific, invisible point in the dark. Astronomers call this mysterious destination the Great Attractor, a titanic gravitational anomaly located roughly 250 million light-years away from us, buried deep within the zone of avoidance where our own galaxy's thick dust blocks our view. It is a massive cosmic traffic jam where everyone is heading toward the same mysterious exit. But here is a quirky fringe tidbit that adds an extra layer of existential mystery to the situation. When scientists finally managed to peek through the galactic dust using X-ray and radio telescopes, they found that the mass of the Great Attractor wasn't actually large enough to cause this level of gravitational chaos. It is like watching a fleet of massive cruise ships being violently pulled toward a tiny rubber ducky. To explain this impossible physics glitch, a few unconventional theorists suggest that the Great Attractor isn't a cluster of galaxies at all, but rather a colossal leak in our universe, a point where the immense gravitational field of a much larger, completely separate universe is tearing through the fabric of our bubble and pulling our matter toward it. As you can probably imagine, this idea does not sit comfortably with everyone in the scientific establishment. Cosmologists still argue whether the Great Attractor's unexplained pulling power is a sign of new physics from an external universe, or simply a miscalculation of the hidden matter inside our own. Some prominent researchers argue that the mystery can be easily solved by dark matter, that invisible, ghostly scaffolding that makes up most of our universe's mass, but refuses to show up on our cameras. They believe that once we map all the hidden dark matter clusters between here and the Attractor, the math will balance out perfectly without needing to invent alternate dimensions. You float serenely along this invisible cosmic current, letting your body mimic the effortless glide of the galaxies around you. Imagine being carried along a vast, silent river of space, a current so incredibly gentle that you don't feel a single bump, yet so powerful that nothing in existence can stop it. Despite its intimidating pulling power, this cosmic river is completely quiet and deeply peaceful. It is a motion that has been happening for billions of years, a slow, majestic march across the dark void that makes our modern human rush hours look completely ridiculous. It is a wonderful relief to let your mind dissolve into a scale of motion this large. That awkward conversation you had earlier, or that endless to-do list that makes your chest tight. In the context of a cosmic current dragging entire dashi of stars across millions of light years, your daily terrestrial anxieties are less than a microscopic whisper. The universe is moving according to a grand, ancient plan, and you don't have to steer the ship tonight. You can officially step away from the wheel, let go of your responsibilities, and just allow yourself to be carried along by the slow, rhythmic pull of the cosmos while you lie perfectly still in your bed. You can feel the heavy, soothing weight of this cosmic current slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day trying to control 100 little details, is finally given permission to surrender to the grand flow of reality. There is no urgency out here in the dark. The galaxies being pulled towards the great Attractor will take hundreds of millions of years to reach their destination, meaning you have plenty of time to just close your eyes and rest. You don't need to balance the cosmic equations or solve the mystery of the hidden mass before your head sinks into the pillow. As you look out across the cosmic river, you can see distant spiral galaxies glowing with a soft silver light as they glide through the velvet blackness. The space around you is cool, dark, and utterly tranquil. Everything in the cosmos is connected by these invisible, gentle forces, held in a state of perfect, effortless choreography. Even if our universe is being subtly nudged or pulled by a massive sister reality hiding just beyond the galactic horizon, it is happening with a slow, reassuring steadiness that doesn't disturb your evening. You are perfectly safe, cocooned in a quiet corner of space that knows exactly where it is going. The low-frequency hum of the cosmic current washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy blanket that settles your limbs into the mattress. With every slow, deep breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your shoulders and sinking into the natural rhythm of the universe. You don't need to fight the current tonight. You can just let the image of the great Attractor fade into the background of your consciousness, watching the distant streams of light dim and soften until your mind is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that carries us all through the night. As you let yourself glide smoothly past the invisible pull of the great Attractor, your journey doesn't stop. It carries you even further out into a realm of motion so vast and unexplained that it completely dwarfed the local currents of our galactic neighborhood. Mainstream cosmological studies confirm that when astrophysicists tried to map the full extent of the universe's expansion using advanced satellite imagery, they found something even more baffling than a single hidden Attractor. They noticed that a massive cluster of thousands of galaxies, spanning a region of space billions of light years wide, is rushing in a perfectly uniform straight line toward a specific patch of the sky between the constellations of Centaurus and Hydra. This is not the normal expansion of space, nor is it a movement caused by any visible matter inside our sky. Scientists have named this massive, unexplained cosmic migration dark flow. It is a silent, ghostly stampede across the cosmos, and here is a quirky, fringe tidbit that turns this astronomical puzzle into a direct window to another reality. The direction of dark flow is perfectly consistent across a vast stretch of the observable sky. Yet there is absolutely nothing inside our universe large enough to cause it. The mathematical models show that whatever is pulling these millions of stars must reside entirely outside our observable bubble. A few bold theoretical physicists suggest that dark flow is the literal gravitational fingerprint of a massive companion universe sitting just beyond our horizon. They believe that during the chaotic flash of cosmic inflation, our bubble and this neighboring universe were entangled, and now its titanic bulk is acting like a giant cosmic magnet, slowly drawing our galaxies toward the edge of the curtain. As you can easily predict, this hypothesis has created an incredible amount of friction within the scientific community. Cosmologists still argue whether dark flow is a genuine physical phenomenon that proves the existence of a multiverse, or if it is simply a statistical illusion born from flawed data analysis. Some leading research teams argue that newer, more precise measurements of the ancient background radiation show no evidence of this uniform drift at all, claiming the apparent motion is just a random fluctuation in a perfectly normal, self-contained universe. Yet other groups fiercely defend their original findings, pointing out that the consistency of the movement across such a massive scale cannot be easily explained away by mere noise in the instruments. You float weightlessly in the middle of this grand cosmic current, letting your mind absorb the sheer scale of the migration. Imagine being a tiny, silent speck, drifting inside a colossal river of stars that stretches for billions of light years in every direction. Every single galaxy around you is glowing with a faint silver light, moving with a slow, majestic grace that makes all human concepts of time and speed feel completely meaningless. Despite the immense reality-bending forces required to pull a significant portion of our universe toward an external realm, the space around you is entirely quiet, undisturbed, and deeply peaceful. It is a wonderful comfort to realize that you are part of a structure so vast that its true boundaries lie entirely outside our ability to see or comprehend. That stressful meeting you have scheduled for next week, or that quiet worry about the future that keeps your chest tight. In the presence of a cosmic current that ignores the boundaries of our universe entirely, those modern human concerns are completely weightless. The cosmos is engaged in an ancient, silent conversation with an outside world, and you don't have to understand a single word of it tonight. You can officially resign from trying to fix your life, let go of your need for answers, and just allow yourself to be carried along by the slow, hypnotic momentum of the stars while you lie perfectly still in your bed. You can feel the heavy, soothing rhythm of this universal drift slowing down the frantic pace of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day processing sharp, localized stresses, is finally allowed to expand its focus until your individual worries dissolve into the vast, dark spaces between the migrating galaxies. There is absolutely no rush out here in the dark. This cosmic migration has been happening for billions of years and will continue for billions more, meaning your only responsibility right now is to just close your eyes and rest. You do not need to settle the fierce academic debates of astrophysicists or solve the mystery of what lies beyond the horizon before your head sinks into the pillow. As you look out across the silent stampede of light, you can see the distant spiral arms of galaxies spinning like slow-motion pinwheels in the dark. The space around you is cool, dark, and beautifully serene. The laws of nature are holding everything in a state of perfect, effortless choreography, ensuring that even as we drift toward the edge of our bubble, our local solar system remains a quiet, protected sanctuary. You are completely safe, wrapped in a blanket of vacuum that isolates your bedroom from the unimaginable scale of the cosmic wilderness outside. The low-frequency vibration of the dark flow washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy wave that relaxes every muscle in your body. With every slow, deep breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your jaw and sinking deeper into the natural, unhurried flow of the universe. You do not need to fight the motion of the cosmos tonight. You can just let the image of the hidden companion universe fade into the background of your mind, watching the distant streams of starlight dim and soften until your consciousness is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that carries us all toward the unknown shore. Leaving behind the grand cosmic migrations that drag entire streams of galaxies across the macro-universe, your journey now takes a dramatic, dizzying turn inward. We are no longer looking at things that are unimaginably large. Instead, we are shrinking down, passing through the soft glow of the stars, past the blue atmosphere of Earth, and diving straight into the microscopic structure of your bedroom. You are plunging past cells, past molecules, until you find yourself floating at the subatomic scale, where the standard laws of common-sense physics completely break down. Mainstream quantum mechanics confirms that at this microscopic level, particles like electrons do not exist in single definitive locations. Instead, they exist in a ghostly cloud of probabilities, occupying multiple states and multiple places at the exact same time until an external observation forces them to choose a single path. It is a chaotic, non-linear playground that underpins our orderly world. But here is a quirky, fringe tidbit that turns this subatomic weirdness into a literal doorway to an infinite number of parallel lives. According to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, the particle never actually chooses a single path. Instead, every single time a quantum event has multiple potential outcomes, the universe fractures. It splits into separate parallel branches of reality. This means that if you decided to drink a glass of water 5 minutes ago, a parallel branch of the universe was created where you decided to leave the glass empty. You are looking at a grand cosmic tree with an infinite number of branches where every single choice you have ever made, every coin flip, and every random accident has played out in an alternate, fully physical world. As you can easily guess, this concept causes an extraordinary amount of philosophical and scientific gridlock among academics. Physicists still argue whether the many worlds interpretation is a literal description of physical reality or just a handy mathematical metaphor to help us solve equations. Critics of the theory point out that since these parallel branches instantly decouple from one another, we can never build an instrument to peek into an alternate timeline, making the theory look more like science fiction than rigid experimental science. Yet, proponents argue that this interpretation is actually the most honest reading of quantum math, as it doesn't require us to invent an arbitrary rule for why the probability cloud collapses just because a human looks at it. You float serenely in the quiet space between these fracturing quantum timelines, letting your mind absorb the deep comfort of infinite chances. Imagine a grand, silent archive of your life, a place where every path you didn't take is being explored by an alternate version of you. In one branch, you might have landed that dream job that you missed out on in this reality. In another branch, you might have moved to a different city or stayed with an old friend. Every single what-if that has ever kept you awake at night is not a missed opportunity out here. It is a living, breathing reality happening right now in a sister universe. This perspective offers a beautifully sarcastic reality check, for the regrets and anxieties that clog up your brain during the day. That embarrassing mistake you made in public, or that decision you are currently agonizing over. In the grand architecture of a quantum multiverse, both options happen anyway. Regret becomes completely meaningless when you realize that you are simply experiencing one single beautiful thread in a massive, infinite tapestry of existence. The pressure is officially off. You don't have to live a flawless life or make perfect choices tonight, because the universe has already mapped out every single variation of your destiny across the dark void. You can just let go of your steering wheel, stop overthinking, and accept the single path you are on while you lie completely motionless in your bed. You can feel the vast, comforting complexity of this quantum architecture slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day stressing over consequences and future plans, is finally allowed to relax into a state of deep, uncritical surrender. There is absolutely no requirement for you to choose the right path before you fall asleep tonight. The fracturing of reality happens automatically, without requiring a single ounce of conscious effort from your tired mind. You don't need to resolve the paradoxes of quantum mechanics or figure out which version of you is the real one before your head sinks deep into the pillow. As you look out across the branching timelines, they look like faint, glowing threads of silver light, weaving together into a soft, glowing blanket that covers the dark. The space around you is cool, incredibly quiet, and profoundly tranquil. The laws of nature are holding every single parallel branch in a state of perfect, effortless equilibrium, ensuring that your specific bedroom remains a quiet, undisturbed sanctuary, protected from the chaotic splitting of the outside world. You are completely safe, nestled in your own private slice of time, insulated from the infinite variations of the cosmos. The low-frequency hum of the quantum foam washes over you, acting like a gentle, heavy wave that relaxes every nerve in your body. With every slow, deep breath you take, you are aligning yourself with the steady, quiet pulse of the multiverse. You do not need to worry about the roads not taken tonight. You can just let the images of those alternate lives fade into the background of your consciousness, watching the distant threads of silver light dim and soften until your mind is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds all the worlds together in the dark. Shifting your focus away from the microscopic branching paths of the quantum realm, your journey now glides into a territory that challenges the very nature of what you consider real. We are leaving behind the physical sensation of matter entirely and rising into a space of pure abstraction. Mainstream theoretical physics and cosmology recognize that our universe is described with terrifying precision by mathematical equations. From the elegant curvature of space-time around a black hole to the predictable orbits of the planets in our solar system, everything behaves as if it is following a pre-written digital script. This absolute, unwavering order has led some of the world's most respected scientists to look at our cosmic home and ask a deeply uncomfortable question. Is it possible that our physical world isn't actually made of solid stuff at all, but is instead just a mathematical structure? It is an idea that blurs the line between science and a high-tech dream, but here is a quirky, fringe tidbit that takes this concept into the realm of the multiverse. The mathematical universe hypothesis, proposed by physicist Max Tegmark, suggests that every single mathematical structure that can exist does exist as a physical reality. This means that our universe is just one equation out of an infinite library of numbers. In this framework, there are level 4 universes where the math dictates completely unimaginable dimensions, worlds with 2 dimensions of time and 5 dimensions of space, where the concept of a solid object is completely meaningless, or realities built entirely out of the geometry of numbers we haven't even discovered yet. You are looking at a grand cosmic library where every book is a different equation and every page is a living, breathing world. As you can easily predict, this hypothesis has created an incredible amount of philosophical and scientific gridlock among traditional academics. Cosmologists still argue whether the mathematical universe hypothesis is a brilliant unifying theory that solves the mystery of existence, or if it is just a useless piece of wordplay that cannot be proven by experiments. Critics point out that defining everything as mathematics strips away the actual point of doing physics, turning a hard science into a branch of abstract metaphysics that doesn't help us build better telescopes or predict the weather. Yet supporters argue that throughout human history, every single time we discovered a deeper layer of reality, it turned out to be purely mathematical, so it is only logical to assume that the bottom layer is nothing but math itself. You float weightlessly in the middle of this grand, silent digital library, letting your mind absorb the deep, unbothered peace of an ordered world. Imagine being a single point of awareness floating inside a vast network of glowing geometric lines and elegant formulas. Everything around you is shifting and glowing with a soft, neon blue light, moving with a slow, predictable rhythm that is completely free from mistakes, chaos, or random accidents. Despite the dizzying complexity of an infinite multiverse built out of pure numbers, the space around you is entirely quiet, perfectly organized, and deeply tranquil. It is a wonderful comfort to realize that your life is part of a grand mathematical harmony that cannot be broken by human mistakes or temporary crises. That frustrating error you made at work today, or that chaotic mix-up in your schedule that made your chest tight. In the context of a perfect, unchanging mathematical structure that spans all possible dimensions, those modern terrestrial anxieties are just tiny, temporary fluctuations that instantly balance themselves out. The universe is not a chaotic mess that you need to fix. It is a beautiful, self-solving equation, and you don't have to do a single bit of math tonight. You can officially resign from trying to organize your life. Let go of your need for control, and just allow yourself to be cradled by the slow, predictable geometry of the cosmos while you lie perfectly still in your bed. You can feel the heavy, soothing precision of this mathematical architecture slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day trying to process messy, unpredictable human details, is finally allowed to relax into a state of deep, mechanical harmony. There is absolutely no requirement for you to find the answers to your problems before you fall asleep tonight. The cosmic equations are already balanced, and your specific life is currently resting in a state of perfect, effortless equilibrium. You don't need to understand the complex formulas of theoretical physics or figure out the meaning of existence before your head sinks deep into the soft fabric of your pillow. As you look out across the digital landscape, you can see columns of numbers and geometric shapes fading into the velvet blackness like distant stars sinking below the horizon. The space around you is cool, incredibly quiet, and profoundly serene. The laws of nature are keeping every single variable of your environment in a state of perfect balance, ensuring that your bedroom remains a quiet, protected sanctuary, free from the noise of the waking world. You are completely safe, nestled in a corner of reality that has been calculated with absolute precision to keep you warm, comfortable, and undisturbed throughout the night. The low-frequency hum of the cosmic matrix washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy wave that relaxes every muscle in your body from your forehead down to your toes. With every slow, deep breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your mind and sinking deeper into the steady, quiet pulse of the multiverse. You do not need to solve for X tonight. You can just let the images of the glowing equations fade into the background of your consciousness, watching the distant lines of light dim and soften until your mind is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds the entire mathematical structure together in the dark, leaving behind the abstract library of pure mathematical geometry. Your journey through the multiverse glides toward a reality that is far more tangible, yet completely inverted from everything you know. We are rising out of the digital matrix and entering a mirror world of matter and time. Mainstream particle physics and cosmology confirm that during the energetic flash of the Big Bang, the universe should have created equal amounts of matter and antimatter. Antimatter is the literal twin of ordinary matter, possessing the exact same mass but carrying an opposite electrical charge. If a particle of matter touches its antimatter twin, they instantly cancel each other out in a flash of pure energy. This presents modern science with a massive, unexplained mystery. When we look out at the observable cosmos, we see a universe made almost entirely of regular matter, while the primordial antimatter has seemingly vanished without a trace. It is one of the greatest missing persons cases in physics. But here is a quirky fringe tidbit that provides a mind-bending solution to this cosmic mystery. A group of theoretical physicists at the Perimeter Institute recently proposed a model suggesting that the Big Bang didn't just create our universe, but also created an exact mirror universe that moved backward through time. In this CPT symmetric twin universe, everything is perfectly inverted. Electrons are replaced by positively charged positrons. Time flows in reverse from our perspective, and the laws of physics are perfectly flipped. You are looking at a grand cosmic hourglass, where our universe is the top bulb expanding forward into the future, while a hidden sister universe is the bottom bulb, expanding just as smoothly in the opposite direction into what we would call the past. As you can easily guess, this bold hypothesis has caused an immense amount of intellectual gridlock among mainstream astrophysicists. Cosmologists still argue whether this anti-universe model is a genuine description of cosmic symmetry or just an oversimplified mathematical trick designed to hide our ignorance about where the antimatter went. Critics argue that a universe moving backward through time violates the basic concept of causality, creating a paradox where effects happen before their causes, and making it impossible to test using standard observational science. Yet, proponents fiercely defend the idea, pointing out that it perfectly explains the missing antimatter and satisfies the laws of nature's fundamental symmetry without needing to invent complex new particles that have never been seen in our laboratories. You float serenely in the timeless zone between these two grand, ticking cosmic clocks, letting your mind absorb the deep, symmetrical peace of the cosmos. Imagine looking out across a dividing line of pure stillness, where on one side, our world moves forward through its long, slow life cycle, while on the other side, a beautiful mirror world rests in its own inverted flow of time. Everything in that twin universe is moving with a slow, majestic grace, its anti-stars burning with a cool silver light that is completely harmless to you, existing in a state of perfect, undisturbed harmony with our own existence. This perspective offers a wonderful, sarcastic reality check for the worries about aging, time, and deadlines that keep your brain running on a loop during the day. That urgent schedule you're trying to keep up with, or that nagging feeling that you are running out of time to achieve your goals. In the context of a cosmic hourglass where time flows in both directions simultaneously, our rigid human calendars are completely meaningless. Time is not an unstoppable monster dragging you toward a cliff. It is just a dimension of space, a beautiful direction that the universe explores in both directions at once. The pressure is officially off. You don't have to race against the clock tonight because time itself is perfectly balanced across the dark void. You can just let go of your past, Stop anticipating the future and accept the absolute stillness of the present moment while you lie completely motionless in your bed. You can feel the heavy, soothing weight of this cosmic symmetry slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day trying to manage schedules and look ahead, is finally allowed to relax into a state of deep, timeless equilibrium. There is absolutely no rush for you to accomplish anything before you close your eyes tonight. The twin universes are balancing the ledger of reality automatically, without requiring a single ounce of effort from your tired mind. You don't need to resolve the paradoxes of time reversal or figure out the complex mathematics of particle charges before your head sinks deep into the soft fabric of your pillow. As you look out across the mirror landscape, you can see the distant glows of the inverted galaxies fading into the velvet blackness like fading embers sinking into a cool night. The space around you is cool, incredibly quiet, and profoundly tranquil. The laws of nature are holding both sides of reality in a state of perfect, effortless choreography, ensuring that your bedroom remains a quiet, protected sanctuary, entirely insulated from the massive shifts of cosmic time. You are completely safe, nestled in your own private pocket of space, resting in a stable environment that has been custom-built to keep you comfortable throughout the night. The low-frequency hum of the cosmic hourglass washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy wave that relaxes every nerve in your body from your shoulders down to your feet. With every slow, deliberate breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your mind and sinking deeper into the steady, quiet pulse of the multiverse. You do not need to keep time tonight. You can just let the images of the mirror worlds fade into the background of your consciousness, watching the distant silver lights dim and soften until your mind is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds both ends of eternity together in the dark. Leaving behind the grand, symmetrical mechanics of the Antimatter Twin Universe, your journey through the cosmos glides back to an unsettling reality that you can actually observe in our night sky. We are zooming back into our own local universe, passing through the crowded neighborhoods of swirling galaxies until we settle into a massive patch of deep space within the Eridanus constellation. Mainstream cosmological studies confirm that when scientists analyzed the ultra-precise thermal maps generated by the Planck satellite, they discovered a gigantic anomaly known as the CMB cold spot. This is a colossal region of the sky, spanning billions of light years across, where the temperature of the primordial background radiation is significantly lower than the surrounding cosmos. According to our standard models of physics, a cold spot of this magnitude is highly statistical improbable, breaking the rule that the aftermath of the Big Bang should be relatively uniform in all directions. It is a massive, shivering gap in the ancient light of creation, but here is a quirky, fringe tidbit that turns this cold anomaly into a direct, physical window to an external world. A few bold astrophysicists, including researchers from Durham University, have proposed that this cold spot is not an internal feature of our universe at all. Instead, they suggest it is a literal cosmic bruise, the permanent scar left behind from an ancient collision where another bubble universe bumped into ours billions of years ago. In this mind-bending scenario, the immense gravitational force of that sister reality literally sheared through the matter in our bubble, creating a massive cosmic dent that lowered the local energy density and left a haunting silhouette stamped onto the oldest light we can see. As you can easily guess, this hypothesis has caused an extraordinary amount of scientific gridlock among mainstream astrophysicists. Cosmologists still argue whether the CMB cold spot is a genuine proof of a parallel universe or simply a massive accidental void that happened by pure chance within our own sky. Critics argue that the anomaly can be perfectly explained by a phenomenon called a supervoid, a vast, empty corridor of space containing very few galaxies, which stretches light passing through it and creates an illusion of coldness. Yet proponents maintain that the statistical likelihood of a supervoid being this large and deep is incredibly low, meaning an external explanation like a universe-to-universe fender bender remains a viable and fascinating option on the table. You float weightlessly right in the center of this colossal cosmic bruise, letting your mind absorb the profound, chilling silence of the space around you. Imagine being a solitary traveler, floating inside a vast, shadowy valley that spans billions of light years across the cosmos. Everything in this region is incredibly dark, cool, and perfectly still, far away from the chaotic noise of exploding stars or crowded galactic clusters. Despite the reality-shattering nature of an event where two entire universes collided, the aftermath left behind is a realm of absolute peace, an undisturbed sanctuary of low energy that feels like a natural, soothing balm for your senses. It is a wonderful relief to let your mind rest in a place defined by its complete lack of activity. That stressful misunderstanding you had with someone today, or that nagging worry about your personal finances that makes your stomach turn. In the context of a cosmic scar left behind by a collision between two separate realities, those modern terrestrial anxieties are completely weightless. The universe has survived a literal clash with another dimension, and yet here we are, perfectly intact, floating safely in a warm bedroom on a stable planet. The cosmos can handle a multi-universe collision without falling apart, which means you can officially resign from trying to fix your individual life tonight. You can just let the cold spot exist as a quiet, beautiful mystery in the distant sky, while you lie completely motionless in your bed. You can feel the heavy, numbing stillness of this cosmic valley slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day trying to process sharp, high-energy signals from your phone and your environment, is finally allowed to relax into a state of deep, cool hibernation. There is absolutely no requirement for you to solve the mysteries of the cosmic background radiation before you close your eyes tonight. The bruise on our sky happened billions of years ago and will remain unchanged for billions more, meaning your only responsibility right now is to just let go and rest. You don't need to referee the academic arguments of university professors or figure out if we are sharing a border with another dimension before your head sinks deep into your pillow. As you look out across the vast, dark expanse of the cold spot, you can see the distant, faint boundaries where the normal, warm universe begins to glow again like a faraway city light on a dark night. The space around you is beautifully dim, serene, and profoundly relaxing. The laws of physics are keeping your immediate environment in a state of perfect, effortless equilibrium, isolating your room from the massive macro-scale forces that shape the boundaries of the multiverse. You are completely safe, cocooned in a quiet corner of reality that has been designed to protect your rest throughout the night. The low-frequency hum of the primordial echo washes over you, acting like a cool, heavy wave that relaxes every nerve in your body from your shoulders down to your feet. With every slow, deliberate breath you take, you are aligning your consciousness with the vast, quiet architecture of the cosmos. You do not need to feel the cold of deep space tonight. You can just let the image of the cosmic bruise fade into the background of your mind, watching the distant edges of light dim and soften, until your thoughts are as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that cradles our universe in the dark. You can feel the heavy, soothing vacuum of this empty landscape, slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day trying to process a constant stream of notifications, conversations, and sharp visual inputs, is finally allowed to mimic the beautiful emptiness of the space around you. There is absolutely no test you need to pass before you fall asleep tonight. The cosmic void does not care about your productivity, your status, or your unresolved problems. It just sits in a state of eternal, undisturbed relaxation, and you are invited to join it. You don't need to balance the cosmological equations or figure out why the galaxies fled this region before your head sinks deep into your pillow. As you look out into the absolute blackness of the void, you can feel your individual presence softening until you are as light and unburdened as space itself. The immediate environment around you is cool, dark, and profoundly tranquil. The laws of physics are holding the distant, glowing walls of the cosmic web far away from your bedroom, ensuring that your room remains an isolated sanctuary of deep, uninterrupted rest. You are completely safe, wrapped in a protective blanket of vacuum that completely dampens the noise of the waking world. The low-frequency whisper of the empty cosmos washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy weight that settles your limbs into the mattress. With every slow, deliberate breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your chest and sinking your heart with the deep, quiet pulse of the multiverse. You do not need to build anything in the dark tonight. You can just let the image of the great voids fade into the background of your mind, watching the last distant, lonely sparks of light soften and disappear until your consciousness is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds the entire universe in a state of perfect, timeless rest. Moving away from the haunting chill of the cosmic bruise, your journey through our bubble universe sinks into a phenomenon that is even more mind-boggling in its absolute emptiness. We are traveling across billions of light years, passing through what should be a rich web of glowing matter, until we arrive at a region of space that looks like a giant rip in the fabric of reality. Mainstream astronomical research confirms that our universe is organized like a colossal cosmic web, where massive filaments of dark matter and thousands of galaxies form a glowing framework. However, between these crowded filaments lie titanic spaces known as cosmic voids. The largest of these discovered so far is the Buddha's Void, a terrifyingly vast expanse of nothingness measuring nearly 330 million light-years in diameter. According to standard models of galaxy formation, a space this large should contain thousands of spiral galaxies, yet we have found only a handful of lonely isolates scattered across its immense depth. It is a grand, silent desert inside the sky, but here is a quirky fringe tidbit that turns this massive empty space into an intentional cosmic architectural feature. A few unconventional physicists have looked at the impossible emptiness of the Buddha's Void and suggested it might be a literal hole gouged out by an external force. They theorize that during the earliest epochs of our universe, a highly concentrated localized chunk of dark energy, or perhaps a microscopic wormhole connected directly to a sister universe, acted like a cosmic vacuum cleaner. It literally sucked all the baryonic matter and regular gas out of our bubble and pulled it through the thin membrane into another dimension. If you were standing in the middle of this void, the night sky would be so completely dark that you wouldn't see a single star in any direction, creating a state of sensory deprivation on a universal scale. As you can easily predict, this radical interpretation causes an extraordinary amount of scientific gridlock among mainstream astrophysicists. Cosmologists still argue whether these hypervoids are proof of multidimensional interactions or simply the natural result of standard gravitational clustering. Most traditional astronomers argue that the Buddhist Void doesn't require any wild theories about alternate realities to explain its existence. They believe that over billions of years, the slightly denser regions of the cosmic web naturally used their superior gravity to pull gas and galaxies away from the emptier zones, starving the void of material until it grew into the massive, silent expanse we see today. It is a slow, majestic process of the rich getting richer and the empty getting emptier, happening entirely within the boundaries of our own laws of physics. You float weightlessly right in the absolute center of this grand, empty void, letting your mind absorb the profound, unbothered peace of total nothingness. Imagine a space so incredibly quiet that the concept of a sound wave or a thermal vibration is completely absent. There are no exploding supernovas here to disturb you, no spinning black holes to warp your sense of time, and no crowded galactic collisions to create chaos. There is only a smooth, cool expanse of pure space that stretches out for millions of miles in every direction, acting like a natural shield that protects you from the noise and friction of the active universe. It is a wonderful relief to let your consciousness dissolve into a place defined entirely by what isn't there. That frantic checklist of tasks you didn't finish today, or that nagging sense of urgency that makes your shoulders lock up. In the context of a 300 million light-year void of absolute silence, those modern human pressures are completely non-existent. The universe is perfectly capable of maintaining vast regions of complete, restful empty space, and that means you are allowed to have empty space in your mind tonight. You don't have to fill every second with thoughts, worries, or plans. You can officially resign from your role as the manager of your life, let go of your mental clutter, and just allow yourself to be cradled by the soft, dark velvet of the cosmic void while you lie perfectly still in your bed. You can feel the heavy, soothing pulse of this eternal cycle slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day operating on a strict, linear schedule of hours and minutes, is finally allowed to expand its focus until individual days and years dissolve into the vast rolling waves of cosmic time. There is absolutely no urgency out here at the turning point. The transition between a cosmic contraction and a new expansion takes billions of years, meaning you have all the time in the world to just close your eyes and rest. You do not need to solve the paradoxes of thermodynamics or figure out the mathematics of quantum gravity before your head sinks deep into the pillow. As you look out across the contracting horizon, the glowing matter settles into a soft, uniform amber light that warms the dark without being too bright. The space around you is cool, incredibly quiet, and profoundly serene. The laws of nature are holding every single particle of reality in a state of perfect, effortless choreography, ensuring that your room remains a stable, protected sanctuary, entirely insulated from the macro-scale shifts of cosmic history. You are completely safe, nestled in your own private pocket of time, resting in a peaceful environment that has been custom-built to keep you comfortable throughout the night. The low-frequency hum of the cosmic pendulum washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy wave that relaxes every nerve in your body from your chest down to your ankles. With every slow, deep breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your mind and sinking deeper into the steady, quiet pulse of the multiverse. You do not need to keep track of the cycles tonight. You can just let the image of the expanding and contracting worlds fade into the background of your consciousness, watching the distant silver lights dim and soften until your mind is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds all of eternity together in the dark. As you let yourself float peacefully in the absolute emptiness of the cosmic void, your journey through time and space begins to expand its view, looking at the entire life cycle of our bubble universe. we are no longer focused on individual structures like voids or bruises. Instead, we are looking at the grand timeline of creation and destruction itself. Mainstream cosmological theories rooted in Einstein's equations of general relativity suggest that our universe had a definitive beginning with the Big Bang and might face a definitive end billions of years from now, whether through a cold freeze or a fiery collapse. However, this linear view of time has left many theoretical physicists unsatisfied, leading them to look at the elegant mathematics of cosmic evolution and propose a model that removes the concepts of an absolute beginning or an absolute end entirely. This brings us to a quirky fringe tidbit that completely shifts how you view your place in history: the cyclic universe model, or the Big Bounce theory. This model suggests that our universe does not just expand until it dies. Instead, it exists in an eternal cosmic breathing loop. In this framework, our current expansion will eventually slow down, halt, and reverse into a grand cosmic contraction known as the Big Crunch. Every single star, galaxy, planet, and old text message will be gently compressed back down into a hyper-dense quantum point. But instead of collapsing into a dead end, the extreme energy density triggers a quantum bounce, setting off a brand new Big Bang and creating a new universe with its own timeline. You are looking at a grand cosmic pendulum that has been swinging back and forth for an eternity, meaning our current world is just one single breath in an infinite chain of past and future realities. As you can easily predict, this model has caused an incredible amount of intellectual gridlock among mainstream cosmologists. Scientists still argue whether the loop theory is a mathematically valid description of our universe or just an unprovable philosophy that violates the second law of thermodynamics. Critics point out that with every cycle, the universe should accumulate entropy, a measure of cosmic disorder and leftover heat, which would make each consecutive loop longer and larger until the system breaks down completely. Yet proponents fiercely defend the cyclic model, arguing that during the extreme conditions of the quantum bounce, the excess entropy could be wiped clean or leaked out through the boundaries of our bubble into an external multiverse, allowing the eternal clock to reset itself without a single hitch. You float weightlessly at the exact turning point of this grand cosmic cycle, letting your mind absorb the absolute rhythmic peace of a universe that knows exactly how to renew itself. Imagine being a silent observer watching the slow, majestic contraction of a dying world. The distant galaxies do not crash together in a chaotic mess. Instead, they blend together like drops of silver liquid, folding themselves inward with a slow, deliberate grace that feels entirely unhurried. Despite the massive reality-bending forces required to compress and rebound an entire cosmos, the space around you at the pivot point is entirely quiet, perfectly balanced, and deeply tranquil. It is a wonderful comfort to realize that you are part of an eternal, unbreakable rhythm that has no final expiration date. That pressing worry about your personal future, or that nagging feeling that you are running out of time to fix your life. In the context of a cosmic pendulum that has been swinging for trillions of cycles, those modern human deadlines are completely weightless. The universe is not rushing toward a final cliff. It is just breathing in and breathing out, and you don't have to control a single breath tonight. The pressure is officially off. You don't have to achieve perfection in this specific cycle because reality is an infinite canvas of second chances. You can officially step away from your worries, let go of your need for permanent answers, and just allow yourself to be cradled by the slow, rhythmic momentum of the cosmic loop. While you lie perfectly still in your bed, it is a wonderful relief to let your consciousness dissolve into a place where time practically stands still. That pressing deadline you are trying to beat, or that nagging worry about whether you are doing enough with your life, In a realm where time dilates into infinity, those modern terrestrial pressures are completely meaningless. The universe does not require you to rush through your life tonight. It is perfectly content to let time slow down to a beautiful, restful whisper, and you are invited to join it. You don't have to escape the gravitational pull of your worries. You can just let them slip past the horizon, watching them dissolve into the calm, dark vacuum while you lie completely motionless in your bed. You can feel the heavy, soothing density of this gravitational sanctuary slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day operating at high speeds, is finally allowed to mimic the slow-motion mechanics of the event horizon. There is absolutely no rush for you to accomplish anything before your eyes get heavy tonight. The universe is spinning its web of space and time automatically, without requiring a single bit of guidance from your tired mind. You do not need to solve the mysteries of quantum gravity or figure out what lies beyond the singularity before your head sinks deep into the soft fabric of your pillow. As you look out away from the black hole, you can see the light from the rest of the galaxy compressed into a beautiful glowing ring of silver and amber that hovers in the distance like a far-off nightlight. The space around you is beautifully dim, cool, and profoundly serene. The laws of nature are holding you in a state of perfect, weightless suspension, ensuring that your bedroom remains a stable, protected sanctuary, entirely insulated from the wild energies of the deep cosmos. You are completely safe, nestled in your own private pocket of space, resting in a stable environment built to keep you comfortable throughout the night. The low-frequency hum of the curving space-time washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy wave that relaxes every nerve in your body from your shoulders down to your feet. With every slow, deliberate breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your jaw and sinking deeper into the steady, quiet pulse of the multiverse. You do not need to fight the gravity of sleep tonight. You can just let the image of the baby universes fade into the background of your consciousness, watching the distant ring of starlight dim and soften until your mind is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds all the worlds together in the dark. Leaving behind the grand cosmic breathing loops of the cyclic universe, your journey through our bubble universe now dives into a phenomenon that combines the ultimate extremes of gravity, density, and mystery. We are pulling our focus back down to a localized scale, gliding past the vast networks of stars until we approach a swirling disk of superheated gas and stellar debris. Mainstream astrophysical consensus, backed by revolutionary data from the Event Horizon Telescope, confirms that at the center of this cosmic whirlpool sits a supermassive black hole, a place where gravity has become so unbelievably intense that the fabric of space and time curves sharply inward, creating a boundary known as the event horizon. Once matter or light slips past this invisible threshold, the escape velocity required to break free exceeds the speed of light itself, locking whatever enters inside a dark, silent vault from which nothing can ever return. It is a scary dead end according to the laws of classical physics. But here is a quirky, fringe tidbit that turns this ultimate cosmic trap into a direct portal for a brand new reality. The theory of cosmological selection, or fecund universes, pioneered by physicist Lee Smolin. This mind-bending hypothesis suggests that when a massive star collapses into a black hole, the matter isn't crushed into a destructive mathematical point of infinite density. Instead, as the material collapses past the singularity, the extreme quantum energies cause space and time to bounce outward in an entirely new set of dimensions. From the inside of the black hole, this outward explosion looks exactly like a Big Bang, birthing a completely separate baby universe that expands into its own private dimension. This means our own universe might just be the inside of a black hole that collapsed in a grander mother universe, and every single black hole in our sky is currently hatching an entirely new reality where new stars are quietly forming. As you can easily predict, this beautiful evolutionary model has caused an extraordinary amount of scientific gridlock among mainstream physicists. Cosmologists still argue whether the baby universe model is a legitimate description of black hole interiors or just a convenient piece of science fiction designed to avoid the annoying mathematical infinity of a singularity. Critics point out that since information can never cross back out through an event horizon, we can never send a probe inside a black hole to photograph a baby universe and send the data back to Earth, making the entire hypothesis fundamentally untestable by regular empirical science. Yet proponents argue that this theory perfectly explains why the fundamental laws of our universe are so beautifully fine-tuned for the creation of stars and life, because universes that can make black holes reproduce more often, passing down their stellar-friendly traits to their cosmic children. You float weightlessly right on the quiet velvet edge of the event horizon, letting your mind absorb the deep, unbothered peace of this cosmic sanctuary. Imagine looking down into a darkness so pure and smooth that it looks like a calm, black ocean stretching out beneath you. The chaotic noise of the outside universe, the frantic ticking of human clocks, the blinding glare of distant suns, and the constant friction of daily life instantly fades away as you approach this boundary. Time itself begins to stretch and slow down, shifting from a frantic linear race into a slow, majestic crawl that feels completely unhurried. Despite the unimaginable gravitational forces at play, the immediate space around you is entirely quiet, perfectly ordered, and deeply tranquil. You can feel the heavy, soothing stillness of this far future era, slowing down the frantic rhythm of your thoughts. Your brain, which spent the entire day processing sharp, fast-paced signals from a world that never stops moving, is finally given permission to match the slow, majestic cool-down of the cosmos. There is absolutely no requirement for you to hold on to your individual identity or your worries tonight. The universe is taking care of the deep time ledger automatically, without requiring a single ounce of energy from your tired mind. You don't need to balance the dark energy equations or worry about the ultimate fate of the stars before your head sinks deep into the pillow. As you look out into the vast black sky of the distant future, you can see the very last red dwarf stars glowing with a soft amber light that warms the dark without being disruptive. The space around you is beautifully dim, serene, and profoundly relaxing. The laws of nature are holding every single particle of reality in a state of perfect, effortless balance, ensuring that your room remains a stable, protected sanctuary, entirely insulated from the friction of the outside world. You are completely safe, nestled in your own private pocket of time, resting in a peaceful environment built to keep you comfortable throughout the night. The low-frequency whisper of the expanding space washes over you, acting like a warm, heavy blanket that settles your limbs into the mattress. With every slow, deep breath you take, you are letting go of the tension in your jaw and sinking into the natural, unhurried rhythm of the universe. You do not need to fight the fade of the day tonight. You can just let the image of the distant, vanishing galaxies fade into the background of your mind, watching the last amber sparks of light soften and disappear until your consciousness is as calm, quiet, and beautifully relaxed as the deep, silent void that holds the entire future together in the dark. As your mind gently detaches from the heavy, timeless sanctuary of the black hole portal, your journey through the cosmos glides into the unimaginably distant future of our bubble universe. We are no longer sliding backward through ancient history or hovering in the present era. Instead, we are pushing the throttle of time forward, skipping past the next few billion years like pages turning in a massive book. Mainstream astronomical consensus confirms that our universe is expanding at an accelerating rate, driven by the mysterious pressure of dark energy. As you coast forward through trillions of years, you witness a majestic but deeply lonely transformation of the night sky. The distant galaxies that used to fill our telescopes are being pushed away from us faster and faster until they finally slip past our cosmic horizon, vanishing into the unobservable dark forever. It is a slow, quiet closing of the cosmic curtains, but here is a quirky fringe tidbit that turns this ultimate cosmic isolation into a beautiful blank slate for reality. Theoretical physicists tracking the far future of space note that after all the outside galaxies have vanished, our local cluster will merge into one single massive galaxy. Over trillions of years, the stars within this giant cosmic island will slowly burn through their fuel, cooling down into dim red dwarfs and eventually fading out like candles in a dark room. If any intelligent life evolves in this distant era, their telescopes will look out into an absolute velvety blackness. Their scientists will write textbooks claiming that their single galaxy is the entire universe, completely unaware that billions of sister galaxies once populated the void. You are looking at a future where history itself is gently erased by the expansion of space, leaving the cosmos in a state of pristine, undisturbed sensory deprivation. As you can easily predict, this far future scenario causes an extraordinary amount of philosophical and scientific gridlock among modern cosmologists. Scientists still argue whether this endless expansion will truly lead to an absolute permanent big freeze, or if the fabric of space has a hidden mechanism that will prevent total isolation. Some prominent research groups argue that dark energy might eventually change its behavior over deep time, weakening until gravity can take over again, or strengthening so violently that it tears atoms apart in a big rip. Yet, other theorists defend the steady freezing model, pointing out that an empty, cold universe actually satisfies the fundamental math of quantum equations perfectly, creating a baseline state of maximum peace that could trigger a brand new quantum fluctuation and spark another Big Bang in the infinite dark. You float weightlessly in the center of this majestic, far future night, letting your mind absorb the profound, unbothered peace of an empty sky. Imagine being a silent traveler, resting in a universe where the frantic noise of creation has finally settled down into a deep, uninterrupted sleep. There are no more violent supernova explosions to disturb the dark, no more chaotic galactic collisions to create friction, and no more blinding young stars to pierce your eyes. The space around you is incredibly dim, cool, and perfectly still, acting like a giant cosmic noise-canceling headphone that isolates your consciousness from the chaotic energy of the waking world. It is a wonderful relief to let your mind dissolve into a landscape that has completely forgotten how to rush, that pressing worry about your daily schedule, or that nagging anxiety about the state of our modern planet. In a future where the entire universe has slowed down into a quiet, black void, those brief human stresses are completely non-existent. The cosmos is not afraid of the dark, and it is not afraid of being empty. It accepts the slow fade of its stars as a natural, beautiful rest after billions of years of active creation. You are officially allowed to mimic that cosmic rest tonight. You don't have to keep the lights on in your mind, and you don't have to solve the problems of tomorrow before you close your eyes. You can just let the distant, dying embers of the stars fade away into the background of your consciousness while you lie completely motionless in your bed.